Okay, so welcome to my review of Gaelic football Laochra. This is a brand new game based on Gaelic football GAA here in Ireland. It's an amateur sport just released on Steam, all the usual consoles. So just an intro on who I am. My name is Sean. I've got 5 years experience working in Unity. I've been making games for 14 years now, although only one of them has been professionally. So I'm very much a junior developer, but I have like a decent understanding of game development. Most of it's, well, almost all of it's like just hobbyist, but I can kind of like appreciate stuff that most people might miss or not see. So to kind of start off with the playable teams, there's the 32 counties, New York and London, all in the game. I actually got jump scared when I turned it on for the first time with how familiar the logos looked, because I was expecting it to be fully generic. But I recognized the court crest straight away, and I'm pretty sure these are like the old county crests, which I think is really creative and really cool. And then on to the jerseys and kits in the game. I think honestly they're a bit of a weak point. I don't think they're necessarily bad, but I'm not a fan of like the default patterns and designs they all have. I think they're a bit too generic. In my career with London, I have to play around with the kits before almost every single game, and it always ends up meaning that at least one team is usually playing in some weird colors, like not their usual kit. Like, it isn't bad, I just think like jerseys could be a bit more unique. I would have loved to see like high quality fictional versions of the real jerseys without official sponsors or crests, but I think you could have done something cool to make them, you know, stand out from each other more. And that's now that we've gone through the teams, kind of going through the game modes. You have your quick match, which is the usual. Practice mode is pretty cool. It's like the old FIFA games. You're kind of just playing around. You get to take some spot kicks. You have the goalkeeper and kind of just learn the controls. It's pretty sound. The tournaments is actually really nice. I'm surprised by how in depth it is. But like, you have all the common tournaments like the League, the Talton Cup, named the Cuchulainn Cup. You have the All Ireland. You have the provincial cups, but you can also create your own, and you can run like full simulations there. A massive up. They're awesome. The career mode is also awesome. I was really surprised by how in-depth it was. I think it's kind of like the centerpiece of the whole game. There's no like manager creation. You kind of just pick a county and get right into it. And then you just go through the GAA season. You start with like the National League. I was going to call it Allianz League. I don't know if that's still the official name. But you have the league, you go into the provincial cups, then depending on how good you are, you go into the All Ireland or the Talton Cup. You squads, there's like decent management. I'm surprised by the tactic options you have. I think it would be cool if these could be modified quickly in game. Like, let's say it's late in the game and you want to emphasize, you know, just try play it down the right, get something working to your best player. Instead of having to open up the menu and edit the tactic, it'd be cool if you could just press like the right arrow on your D-pad. I think that'd be really cool, but otherwise the management and tactics, it's really nicely done. The progression is also pretty cool. Like, once you hit the end of the season, you have the review, like I was saying, and then you get like your fresh crop of young players. I think it's kind of pictured like a crop of minor players. So they're all young. Like, you have the occasional 20-year-old, but most of them are teenagers under 20. But this really impressed me. Like, it was a lifesaver for my London save. Like, my London are shocking, and I pretty much took every single youth player that came up. So yeah, overall I think career mode, it's a big win. I love it. I don't really play FIFA anymore, but I'm a hardcore football manager player and have been for quite a few years now. So there are definitely some areas that I really appreciate and some tweaks I like to see in the future, but they're kind of minor things, more like immersion, kind of like stats, and minor like displaying the stats can be a bit awkward, but even as it is right now, I think it's like the main selling point of the game. Now, something I really want to highlight that most people might look over is the user interface. And now, like, I'm a weirdo, so out of all aspects of like game development and software, I chose to be a UI programmer since I love it so much. And I have to say, like, the UI throughout this game is fucking awesome. Like, it's so well done. I love it. Like, UI in sports games the last fucking decade has just like the same bland colored cards, and I think here they do a great job of kind of giving some personality to the UI. Instead of it just being like a basic squad selection screen, you get to highlight your province, you get to see it on the map, then inside of that you select the county, and it's really cool, and it has like the county colors on the hover. The color palette throughout is really clean, like the kind of blues. I love it. And then there's like the amber hover effect on all the elements, which is sick. But yeah, it's really nice. And as well, the font usage, this is how you know I'm how much of a weirdo I am, is I love the font. It's kind of like everything just kind of feels distinctively Irish and unique, which I think is class. And it kind of feels like you're playing an Irish made game by Irish developers instead of like some bland generic EA made slop. And I think that's perfect, and they really nailed the aesthetic here. So yeah, that's a huge upside. And then the in-game UI, more positives. I really like it. It's pretty clean and simple. The scoreboard straightforward, just up in the top left. It looks nice. You have your current player at the bottom. One weird thing is that it doesn't show the opposition player, which you're probably used to from sports games. I'm pretty sure it only shows you, and I'm not sure if that's a bug or not. Like, I thought it was a bug, and I thought it just wasn't showing, but I've not had a single game where it shows the player on the AI team. So that was a bit weird, but the minimap's cool, pretty straightforward. The halftime and full-time screens are really nicely done. Something you'll notice is Irish is really emphasized throughout the game. So when you kind of pause or halftime comes up, you have like the English name. So let's say like Laochra, but then like the Irish is underneath, like here. But yeah, just wanted to highlight that because you don't really see it mentioned in reviews. But yeah, then the settings options you have are kind of the usual on PC anyways. You have like the usual graphics settings. You just get to select your FPS. Although, to be honest, very rarely does it hit this FPS. I think I've only hit it in practice mode. The game has quite a few FPS problems at the moment, especially at nighttime in the bigger size stadiums. But then the audio is nice. It's cool because I don't like playing with commentary on sports games. I like to turn it off, especially when I'm making like content like my YouTube series. But the commentator, from what I've heard, he's actually pretty good. Fair play to him. He's not as good as Michal Hertig, but still pretty good. There's a good array of difficulties to choose from. I've been playing on the second highest difficulty, and I've been finding it like that's the sweet spot, but there's a good few below that, which is nice. And now on to one of the main selling points of the game is their creation suite, where you can make like custom teams. You can create the logo. The logo maker is actually my favorite part in it. It's really nice. Then you can make your team name. You can choose an Irish name, which I think is pretty cool. You make your jerseys. The jersey creator is fine. It's kind of like the same problem I mentioned earlier, where they look a bit too like generic, but when it's like a team creator, like it's perfectly fine. Like I have no problem with it here. And then the player creator I think is actually really impressive. Lots of hairstyles. But something I noticed is there's a lot of goofy players in the pre-generated game. Like you'll see a lot of like ginger hair, a lot of mullets, a lot of weird mustaches and facial hair. So maybe like the base creation could be tweaked a bit, but it kind of shows the options that are available to you. But yeah, you'll definitely notice a lot of ugly players in the base game. So yeah, overall the creation suite is a big plus, and what they managed to pull off I think is really cool. Like you don't really see something this in depth in an indie game. One of the things I'm happy, like the first thing I used to do in the Gaelic games is I'd make because there was never really a player career. So I'd make myself and I'd stick myself in centre forward for Cork, and that's exactly what I was able to do the second I booted up this game. So I really loved having that option. So yeah, big up from the creation suite. And then kind of coming back to the audio, I kind of mentioned it briefly in the settings, but something I really want to point out, and lots of people have, is the soundtrack is awesome. It's really cool. Like they reached out to kind of like Irish musicians and bands to kind of submit songs to be put in the game, I'm fairly sure, from what I remember. So you just have like a soundtrack of just Irish indie songs, and they're almost all bangers as well, which is really sick. And it kind of just emphasizes how Irish the game is. So the sound effects then as well in the game are fine. Like nothing really to say. Like it sounds good. Like you have the crowds. The crowd atmosphere is great. Okay, so now that's all out the way, onto the main section, which is the gameplay. First, I just want to get into the animations. I don't expect, and you shouldn't expect, like AAA level motion capture from like a small studio. Like the running definitely looks a bit goofy, and traveling calls will happen after getting like animation locked when the CPU tries to tackle you. But the celebrations are cool. There's umpires which have their own unique animations, and there's enough kind of like unique football animations to get by. Like it looks good. I'm pretty happy with it. Then like some like the mechanics you might come across in the game. There's a few that work well. It has like soloing, it has high balls, it has hand passes, you can fist it over, you can do a couple skill moves. There's points, 2-pointers, goals, 45s, free kicks, penalties, all worked perfectly. Like it feels like you're playing a Gaelic football game. The only dodgy thing is the throw-in to start the halves is really rough. Like I have 10 hours and I've not been able to win a single one. And I don't think it's just me being terrible at the game. I think it's a bit buggy. My player just kind of goes all over the place. Then tackling is also hit and miss. Like I mentioned, the AI can lock you up in an animation and it'll force you to travel, which really sucks. Then just going into how like the game kind of feels, just to kind of like play around with it, is that it definitely right now it's a bit clunky, which I think is the biggest turn off for most people from what I've seen in the reviews, and it was almost a turn off for myself, to be honest. Like, I think it's absolutely best to treat this game more like an arcade style title as opposed to like a hyper realistic one. Like, it's just not feasible to expect a small studio to pull off like lifelike GAA on the quality of FIFA or something. But once you get used to like the quirks and the mechanics, actually is like fairly enjoyable, aside from like the few bugs you'll have at launch. Like, some are fairly noticeable and can be game breaking at times, like point attempts from 40 yards can drop in the back of the net due to goalkeepers kind of having a seizure, and opposition teams, especially in like the weaker side, they're not aggressive enough when it comes to like point taking. Like, I've done a full season with London and I haven't had the AI attempt a single 2-pointer against me or any sort of like long range shot at all. Like, they all just have to come into close in goal to kick it over the bar or try a goal attempt. But yeah, kind of relating to that, like the weaker teams and players definitely have like wet noodles for legs. Like, they can barely kick the ball 30 yards, which I think is a problem at the moment. Like, I was struggling to score points for the first few games. Like, my goalkeeper can't kick it past his own 45 without the wind on his back. But all that being said, like, what they have is still impressive. Like, for a unique sport like GAA, I think they've managed to recreate the overall feeling quite well. Like, aside from the goalkeepers and the lack of aggressiveness on AI shot attempts, like, the AI actually plays very well, and you can definitely have like some really fun games, which I think is incredibly impressive. Like, the wind has a serious effect on games, which I love. Like, strong winds can turn a weak center forward who can barely kick it fucking 15 yards into a machine who can just blast over a 2-pointer from everywhere. Like, the dynamic effects the wind have is awesome. Like, I think they really nailed that. And there's also a really nice selection of stadiums you can play in. Like, it definitely needs some optimization areas, especially during nighttime. Like I mentioned earlier, my FPS in Croke Park at night I think was like 10, down from over 100, so definitely needs some tweaking. But I love how it has like little dainty local grounds for the smaller counties. Like, I've been playing almost all my games in those because I kind of just love them so much. Then the kind of biggest thing that could take you out is that the FPS, I don't know why or what could cause it, but on the intro to the game, like where it shows the formations, and on replays, the FPS just drops to like 5 or 10. Like, it's really distracting. But yeah, it's all like little things like that are the kind of things you would expect to be fixed over the next months or so. But yeah, at the moment there was a little problems, but overall what they have got done is like really impressive, and I think it's like super technically impressive that they're able to get to the point they're at now, that they have like a working GAA game despite the little bugs. So now I've kind of like gone through the kind of goods and bads. Like, some suggestions I would have is, even if it's just like a temporary fix, I love my goalkeepers on both sides just stick inside the 6-yard box or even just on the line, just so that if a high ball is coming in, they're glued to the goal line and there's no chance of it just like awkwardly going over the head and slowly crawling into the back of the net. I change how the kicking attributes work at the moment. Like, everyone playing senior county football is able to kick a ball like 40-50 yards, no bother. So I'd like to see the attributes have more an effect on like the accuracy, and having a high kick power stat just means you can kick it then extra 10-20 yards like a fucking machine. Like, the old Gaelic games would punish you for just like spamming max power shots, which I don't think this game does. So like, if you had weak accuracy and you tried hoofing the ball, it would just go out of bounds or go fucking 40 yards wide near the corner flag. But yes, some thoughts on that. And as well, with point scoring, it would be cool. Like, I loved the old indicator on the Gaelic football games. Like, you can score fine in this game, but that's just kind of like a plus. Like, it would be really, really cool to eventually have that indicator in this game. But yeah, honestly, it's a lot of it is just like polish and fixing bugs. But yeah, those are like some suggestions I had. Now, honestly, I suppose the bottom line, like, is the game fun? And honestly, most of the time, I'd say yes, it is, and I do enjoy playing it. Like, it is a rough first impression, I have to say, and that seems to be a common thought across the reviews I've had, and it's kind of easy to be turned off by launch bugs, especially on indie games. But I think if you can kind of get past that and get a few games in, explore all the different game modes, and have a couple enjoyable matches, I think you'll be able to have a really good time and appreciate what the game has to offer. It's very easy to focus on what it kind of does wrong or what's not perfect, and kind of forget about everything great that it has achieved and all the good stuff it does have to offer you can do in it, which I think is good. It's a fun game at the end of the day, and I think that's what's important. So now I have got all that yapping out the way. Time for the final verdict. So I'm going to kind of break through the big positives overall, the big negatives, kind of go through my score and my recommendation. So kind of start off, my big list of positives is the game. This is the biggest one for me. Like, it 100% looks and feels Irish made. from the interface to the music to the fact you're playing like Gaelic football, like everything is just Irish, and I think that's class. Like it's the game modes, they're surprisingly in depth, and the creation suite is surprisingly in depth, and most notably the career mode is very in depth, and I love it. So the game modes and the creation, massive positive for me. Okay, so now we've said the positives, let's kind of go into more like the big negatives at the moment. And I think the biggest one for a lot of people is the high price point for what the game offers at the moment. Like €35 I think is asking for a lot for what the game gives you. Like, I understand why you would want to release it at €35 considering you have like a niche market, but I think you also lose a lot of leeway when you charge that much. Like, indie games are usually around like 10 to €20. So when you go for 35, it's more like a bigger studio game. So the more someone pays, the higher their expectations. And I think that's what's led to a lot of negative reviews at the moment. And then as well, like the crests, players, and stadiums look great. But I don't know if this is just me being difficult, but I really don't like how the kits are right now for the counties. Like, they're great for the custom teams and the creator, but I'd kind of just like something more distinct for the teams. So then, like, after going through everything and kind of going through that, I'd say my final score, I'd probably give it a 6 out of 10 at the moment. But there's a big but with that 6 out of 10. Like, the game is good. Like, I'd say it's good right now. It has potential to be great, but I think it is hard to rate it any higher than that right now, given it's €35 and kind of listed as a full release. I just think, like, right now, if you're buying the game, you're essentially paying like an extra €10-15 to support its development. And honestly, like, I have no problem with that, and I'm more than happy to do so after playing around with it a while and seeing everything it has to offer and like the potential it has. So what I'd say is, like, give the devs another 3 months to a year to iron out the bugs and improve the game after the community's feedback. I think it's going to be in a much better place. But if you do want to wait, like if you're expecting a fully polished experience and don't want to spend that much right now, I'd say wait a couple months for the initial issues to be ironed out and then come back and have a look. And I'd say you'll like what you see a lot more then. But yeah, let me know what you think down below. What you'd rate it, what your thoughts are. Do you think I'm being harsh? Do you think I'm being an asshole? Or do you think I'm being too kind? Check out my series if you'd like to see more of the game. I did like a full career playthrough with London, kind of going through the full series. Don't know how long I'll continue it for. Like, I'm not really a content creator here. Well, I am, but on my other channel. But I do like nerdy game developer stuff. But yeah, this is kind of like something I've not done since COVID. But yeah, thanks for watching anyways. And yeah, see you around in the next video. But yeah, bye.